It's my pleasure to introduce the salutatorian of the class of 2016, Justin Hardcastle.
To start off, I'd first like to thank everyone for coming out here today to honor the achievements of the class of 2016. I would also like to say my personal congratulations to this class. Like many others here today, I've been in Galway since kindergarten. Despite whether or not we were close, we still grew up together, and we will all cherish the memories forever. Now, I could come up here and start off my speech by saying, as your salutatorian, I would like to use this time to talk about and then give some inspirational speech about how we are the millennial generation, and if we work hard enough, we can change the world. Or I could go on to talk about the necessity of expressing yourself in life, and that we will have to face challenges, and that we can overcome them. Instead of giving one of these speeches, or some other cliche version that many others in this world already have, I'd like to use my time here today to talk about perspectives. Up until this point, Galway Central School has been our world, but we're about to enter a much larger one. Our perspective has been relatively small, and now we will gain a much larger perspective on life. Everyone says that your perspective and your outlook towards life can change the world forever. Well, sorry to destroy the illusion, but it really can't. The world is going to be what it is. We can change society, but not the world. The world is far older than any of us, and it will be around for far longer than the entire human race, and we have no power to change that. But we can all control our perspectives, and although they can't change the world as a whole, they can change our individual worlds. I guarantee that everyone here has taken the time out of their lives to go outside on a starry night, just to gaze up at the night sky. What do you think when you're looking up at the stars? Do you think about how beautiful the sky is and how perfect your night is? Do you look up and wonder if there is another person looking up at the same sky and thinking the same thing? Or do you look up at the night sky and realize how small all of us truly are? When you gaze upon the stars, you are staring across both space and time. You can see stars that still shine bright to this day. You can see stars that have already died out, but still have their light traveling across the universe. You can see the blackness of night. You can sometimes see comets hurtling through space. We are infinitely small and insignificant on the grand scale of the universe. Compared to all of space and time, we are just a drop of water in an endless sea. We are so insignificant that we shouldn't even be able to be observed at all when viewed on this scale. Then, on the opposite end of the spectrum, at the scale of the atoms and the molecules that make up the very same universe, we are a combination of an incalculable number of these building blocks of reality. As we continue to dig deeper into these particles that we had previously believed to be the smallest in existence, we continue to find smaller and smaller particles. This brings us into the world of hadrons, leptons, quarks, antiquarks, and more recently the Higgs particle. Modern-day physicists are still digging deeper into our reality. Instead of looking at the big picture and where we fit in this universe, they've chosen to investigate where it all comes from. Their perspective leads us to believe that we are massive beings that exist in an infinite world. A world that is infinite on both ends of the spectrum, infinitely large and infinitely small. These two realities show that we have a choice in how we perceive our lives. We can live to experience the little things, or we can choose to exist as a part of the grandiose scale of the universe. We can choose to live only day to day, or we can choose to live to leave behind a legacy. It's our choice, not anyone else's, ours and ours alone. An example of a man who chose to live his life in the long term and to leave behind a legacy was my grandfather, who just passed away this past February from cancer. He always taught me that you have to work hard in your life, no matter what you do for a living, and that you have to save for the important things in the future. When my mom was young, my grandparents bought a small cabin on Brant Lake up in the Adirondack Mountains. He wanted to create something for the family to have and to share for generations. So they spent a lot of time, money, and effort to turn that small cabin into a summer home. This place has always had a lot of special meaning to me. We've met some of our closest family friends there, and where we've made some of our best memories. My grandfather had the foresight to build it, and he had a large family to share it with. We will always owe him for this, because we're lucky to be a part of his legacy. Thank you, Pipa. He told me that you have to be present for every single day of your life. You can't just take time off from your own life and be absent because you're not feeling it. You have to be living your life for every single day that you have on Earth, because that can change so suddenly. You have to be nonstop. You have to fight like you're running out of time. If you choose to take time away from living your own life, or working towards where you want to be in your life, how can you possibly expect to be happy with yourself in your life? So this is your choice. You can choose to dwell on the challenges in your life and stop to think about how hard your life is, or you can choose to put everything in perspective and choose what you want your life to be, and then actively work towards making your life what you want it to be. But that's your choice to make. No one else can make it for you. Now, outside of ourselves, we may not be able to see what our influences are in other people. Many of the small things that we do for other people that we don't even think twice about may end up meaning the world to someone else. For example, I think that some of my teachers don't realize the influences that they have had in my future. To name one, Mrs. Donnan. I don't know if you realize this, but you were the reason that I'm going to college for engineering. You helped me find my career path and what I want to do with my life. And for this, I am eternally grateful. I will always remember you. Thank you. And another large thank you to the rest of my teachers and mentors, both in school and in life, for everything that you've taught me and for all that you've done. Now, I want us all to take a moment to appreciate everyone who has had some sort of influence in our lives. They are some of the reasons why we are who we are. Many of the other reasons are caused by our own personal choices. We've had so much guidance to get to this point. And so maybe when we look at the infinite starry sky, we can think of those people who have touched our lives and know that it is our responsibility through our choices, big and small, to carry on their teachings. For although we are, to quote the band Kansas, just dust in the wind, through our actions and the legacies we leave behind, we are greater than that. So carry on, my wayward son. Remember not just who you are in this world, but also who you can always choose to become.